Welcome back to our series on the frequency modulation. In our last lecture, we explored the indirect method of generating wideband frequency modulated signal, and the method is also known as the Armstrong method. Today, we are diving into the direct method of WBFM generation. In this method, we will break down the concept and the block diagram of the direct method, and in the next video, we will dive deeper into the mathematical analysis. So let's get started. In the previous lecture, we saw the indirect method and why we use the indirect method of WBFM generation. In the indirect method, we do not generate the wideband frequency modulated signal directly at desired frequency and deviation. Instead, we first create a narrowband frequency modulated signal, which is easy to generate using a phase modulator. Then, by passing this narrowband frequency modulated signal through frequency multiplier and mixers, we indirectly scale the carrier frequency up to the transmission frequency and the frequency deviation up to the wideband standards, which is up to 75 kilohertz. So the wideband frequency modulated signal is obtained indirectly as a result of multiplying and translating a narrowband signal. This is why it's called indirect method. Now, let's understand why do we use the direct method of wideband frequency modulated signal generation. In the direct method, the modulating signal directly controls the frequency of the oscillator itself. The oscillator tank circuit LC is made variable using a varactor diode or reactance modulator. So when the message signal changes, the oscillator frequency changes immediately. Hence, the direct generation of frequency modulated signal. There are no intermediate stage like narrowband frequency modulation, multipliers or mixers. That's why it's called the direct method. And the frequency modulated signal is generated at the oscillator's output in one step. So the methods are called indirect method because the frequency modulated signal is achieved indirectly through intermediate steps: narrowband frequency modulation of multipliers, then wideband frequency modulation, and direct method because the frequency modulation is achieved directly at the oscillator without intermediate transformations. Now let's understand the direct method or the LC oscillator method. The LC oscillator method of generating the wideband frequency modulated signal is based on a very simple but powerful idea. If the frequency of the oscillator depends on its tank capacitance, then by making this capacitance vary in step with the modulating signal, the oscillator's frequency will also vary accordingly. This variation of oscillator frequency with the input signal produces a wideband frequency modulated signal right at the oscillator's output. In practice, the variable capacitance can be realized either through a varactor diode whose junction capacitance changes with the applied voltage, through a reactance modulator circuit which electronically simulates a variable reactance. In both cases, modulating signal controls the effective capacitance across the LC tank circuit and hence the instantaneous frequency oscillation. This approach requires a very simple circuitry and avoids frequency multipliers or complex translation stages. However, because the LC oscillator is used as carrier generator, the frequency stability becomes a challenge. Therefore, in real transmitters, this method is often combined with automatic frequency control or AFC to keep the carrier locked to the assigned channel. Despite this limitation, LC oscillator method remains one of the most straightforward and elegant ways of generating wideband frequency modulated signal. So let's understand the block diagram of this LC oscillator method or direct generation of wideband frequency modulated signal. At first, we have the message signal. The process begins with the message signal, which serve as the input modulating waveform. This is typically an audio or data signal within the low frequency range from a few hertz to several kilohertz. The amplitude of this signal determines how much the carrier signal will shift from its center value. Especially, it controls the frequency deviation of the final FM output. Next is the tune circuit modulator. The message signal is applied to the tune circuit modulator, which converts the instantaneous voltage of the input into a corresponding reactance change. This modulator can be utilized using a varactor diode whose junction capacitance varies with the applied voltage, or a reactance modulator which uses an active device such as transistor to simulate a variable reactance. The changing reactance alters the effective capacitance across the LC tank circuit in step with the message signal. Next is the LC oscillator or the tank circuit. The LC oscillator generates the high frequency carrier wave whose frequency depends on the inductance L and the capacitance C of its tank circuit, given by the relation F equal to 1 by 2 pi root over LC. Since the capacitance is varied by the tuned circuit modulator and the oscillator's frequency also varies in direct proportion to the modulating signal, this produces the instantaneous frequency variation that characterizes the frequency modulation. The oscillator output therefore becomes a wideband FM signal without requiring any frequency multipliers or mixers. FM signal output or wideband FM. The output of the oscillator is the wideband frequency modulated signal itself. This signal contains a carrier whose instantaneous frequency continuously changes according to the message signal amplitude. Because the modulation occurs directly at the oscillator, the method is simple and highly efficient for generating the FM at the carrier frequency. Frequency modulated signal is given by ST is equal to AC cos 2 pi FCT plus beta sine omega mt. Next, we have the automatic frequency control or AFC. In practical transformers, LC oscillator can suffer from frequency drift due to the temperature changes, component aging, or supply voltage variation. To maintain the frequency stability, a automatic frequency control or AFC loop is employed. This AFC loop monitors the oscillator's output frequency and detects any deviation from the desired value, produces a control voltage that corrects the drift by adjusting the oscillator's tuning circuit. This feedback action keeps the carrier frequency locked up to its assigned channel, ensuring a stable, reliable wideband FM transmission. This concludes our discussion for this lecture. In the event that you have any question regarding this presentation, feel free to post them in the comment section and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you in the next one.